Welcome back. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. We are talking SEC football schedules. We talked about the general 8-game schedule. Now we're going to talk about potential, they haven't been announced, 1-game opponents. I think there's some obvious ones. Georgia, Florida. You could talk Georgia, Auburn. The problem is you have Auburn, Alabama, and that's going to be it. To me, LSU, Texas A&M seems like an obvious, I don't that's a big rivalry. I think LSU could have other options, but in the landscape of how everything else plans out, I don't see it being anyone else. Maybe you could say Arkansas, but I think Arkansas and Missouri, it makes more sense. Kind of a lame game, but
yeah, super lame.
It's played on Thanksgiving weekend every week. It's a rivalry between two crappy teams, whatever. The Egg Bowl, can't. You have to have that. But then after that, it's just kind of a bunch of games like Tennessee, Vandy. I guess that's where you have to go. I mean, good for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I guess that is where Tennessee, we were talking about evening out the schedule and okay, they have to play Georgia. They have to play Alabama. Well, your permanent game is Vandy, and that's what they're going to say.
That's a bye week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is very easy. South Carolina, Kentucky. What other ones am I missing here?
That would be it. No, you got them all.
So
you get them all.
Which one's the best?
The thing is, the best rivalry is never. I mean, to me, the Iron Bowl is classic. The Iron Bowl is the best. We've had the best moments from SEC football in the Iron Bowl, in my opinion. Kick Six. That's the greatest game ever. But to me, South Carolina, Kentucky, does anybody actually care about that game? That's Georgia needs South Carolina.
You're just going to have stinkers.
But that should not happen in a conference with this many good teams. That's the point. It's the thing with LSU is Texas A&M is a rival, but so is Bama. So is Ole Miss. So is Florida. LSU's that one team that they hate everybody. Their fans and everybody else's fans just
Florida. I would play Florida every year. That's of all the LSU rivalries, I think Florida is my favorite.
I would go Bama just because I think Brian Kelly is just hungry to beat Saban every single year. There was only 5 coaches to bet for the 9-game SEC schedule. It was Billy Napier of Florida, Brian Kelly of LSU, Missouri's head coach, who nobody knows. Who had those crazy comments. We should talk about that. Jimbo Fisher of A&M and Kirby Smart. I have no idea why we're going to sacrifice all these great games just to have an easier schedule. That's really what it is. Saban's throwing his weight around because he is still the czar of college football. Saban's words carry weight about we're sacrificing all these rivalries. And I get it. What you were saying in the last segment was basically they're going to take into account those rivalries and these secondary rivalries, but there still has to be a fair and balanced schedule. LSU's biggest rivalries are all going to be good teams, competitive teams. We could talk crap about A&M and they're Texas 8-4 and Ole Miss is never going to win double-digit games and Florida's down in the dumps. But traditionally, those are pretty competitive games that we're talking about. And now we got to play, Missouri instead of Ole Miss. It's I don't care about Missouri. I don't want to lose out on these games for the sake of parity. I don't care. And as an LSU fan, we're one of the teams that plays all these good teams every single year because of those West rivalries, because our cross division was Florida. I'm just so riled up about this. I can't.
What we missed in basically the entire 2 segments is Texas and Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, Red River.
Who gets Texas and Oklahoma? Because I want one of them. And I
want Texas. I want Texas.
This is the thing. To me, having a harder schedule in the 12-team playoff format is only going to do you good. It really is. Beating teams, other good teams. So I'm not worried. To me, give me them all. Give me Texas, Oklahoma, give me a gauntlet. Because at the end of the day, if we go 8-3 against a gauntlet, we're fine. Like we're gonna make the 12. We're not gonna make, if there is an SEC championship game, that's a totally different story. We're not gonna make the SEC championship game. We'll be in the top 12. Thank you very much. And to me, I want good games. Like I want to watch my team play good games. If I'm Georgia, give me Bama. Give me Bama, give me Florida, give me Texas. Give me it all. Like I want it all. And if you're as good as Georgia is, like you're not losing more than 2 games. You're not losing. If you lose any of them, you're not losing more than 2 games. Give me it all. Give me it all.
That's a crazy part is I saw, Mike Bell of 92.9 talking about, how much bull crap this is. And I agree with him. And I saw a bunch of Georgia fans in the comments defending the 8-game schedule. You guys have been getting crap because of the schedule that you have no control over. Now you have the ability to make the schedule more competitive and you're still defending it. Listen, everybody loves championships. I want another championship in Baton Rouge, but not at the sacrifice of good football. The SEC is the pinnacle of the sport. Let's get good games every single week. Like who cares about having
I don't care who cares if you win a national championship and you're undefeated? It doesn't matter. Yeah. They all count the same. Yeah. They all count the same. And generally, if you are the best team, which Georgia's been, like Georgia would have swept that schedule. Yeah. Whatever schedule they put in front of them, they could have put Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, LSU. They would have beaten all of them. They'd have beaten all of them. There was no team that was beating them. So who cares? Play it. Like I don't understand the running from competition. Let these guys hit each other. You're just as likely to get injured against Texas as you are against Vandy. Like it doesn't matter. Give me the best 2 teams as much as possible.
I couldn't agree more. And this is what we were talking about with Jake, with the SEC championship and how, it's crazy that Saban is the one who's spearheading this just wussy mentality about the SEC championship game can hurt you. No, you want to be in control. You don't want to be the one sitting outside of the room hoping that things go your way. You want to be, these guys are alphas. This is, like I said, it's the pinnacle of college football. You want to be in control of your own destiny. You don't want somebody else. Everybody always whines about the refs and this and that. If there's no SEC championship game, what are we going to do? Like there has to be that sort of, that fight where you're I want this, and so I want to be the best. You got to beat the best.
They are not doing away with the SEC championship game, Alec. It is like and then what's crazy is I think Kirby was talking about it too, like agreeing with Saban. Yet every time they win the conference championship over the last 3 out of the 4 years, he says this is just as big as the national championship because it is. It is the best conference in college football history. There has never been a conference like this. And especially when you bring Texas and Oklahoma into the mix, it's like screw the national championship. Like it is the biggest thing, and they're not going to do away with that. 1, because of money. 2, because it is a great event. It is a spectacle. And the 2 teams that make the SEC championship in a 16-game conference are going to make the playoff. Like I don't see any scenario where number 6 Alabama loses to number 2 Georgia and they're out of the playoff. There's no scenario where that happens. There's no scenario what happens.
Let's even just talk about the buys and how that would affect you in the SEC championship. The committee is SEC bias. We always get the benefit of the doubt regardless. They'll put a 2-loss LSU team over a 1-loss Big Ten team every day of the week. They know that this is the toughest division in football.
Yeah. Well, coming up after the break, we have a breakup in sports radio.